was a very late night start and probably a pretty short finish. But welcome to the Talking Shit podcast. I am Dr. Evil Genius.
And I am Captain Paul. And how you doing there, Evil?
I'm doing pretty okay. Today was a pretty good day overall, man.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it though, man. I watched the end of the. Well, I watched the entire Mets game. Um, they're in Atlanta, and let me tell you, the loss it really hurt. The
Yeah.
loss really hurt, man. One of the most unlucky losses I've seen in a very long time. But other than that, things are going, pretty much as they should go when you're working hard and trying to create something that leaves a mark in the world.
Mm-hmm. So, well, that's good to hear, man. There's a lot of stuff going on around the scenes. We were actually supposed to have an episode yesterday, but I got caught up. I had to have a very serious conversation with my girl,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna be most likely taking the next step forward. Gonna be moving into a new place here,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's a good trial run, isn't it? Like to see,
mm,
like, what it's like, with her. Because everything is great when, when you're not living together, right? But,
mm-hmm.
you really find out what that compatibility level really is when you have to cohabitate.
Well, that's the thing. It's taking that next step, finding out like there's going to be things I do and there's going to be things you do. We'll probably annoy the shit out of each other with small stuff, right? But like, there's
Mm-hmm.
going to be something we didn't know about the other. That like nothing huge, obviously, but like maybe the way I fucking clean, maybe the way she fucking clean. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just going to be some small stuff we find out that might just annoy one another, and it's just going to good because you need to take that step and figure out if you're truly it's going to be compatible. I'm not really necessarily worried in that light. We are pretty open and honest in our relationship, and we're pretty transparent people. We're very kind of low key, but yeah, I'm just excited for that step forward, man. I'm excited to move back in. Live by live on my own again after the whole COVID stuff, and I'm just a lot of nice steps looking forward to. Take a year lease and then hopefully buy a property here next year because the market was a little too crazy to
So,
buy.
so can we stop beating around the bush and get to why you really want to move into this place?
Oh,
Can, can we?
just copious amounts of sex, like obviously.
Yeah,
Like let's just
because
let's
you
yeah let's.
know, in the end, what it comes down to is that sloppy toppy. I mean,
Oh Jesus.
yeah, I mean, like we could talk all the bullshit we want about how, we need to find out if we're compatible. We need to find out, who uses the Mr. Clean, um, who does what, you know. But in the very end of the day, it's about living on your own so you can walk around with your Frankenbean swinging.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? No bras on,
mm,
no t-shirts, just titties jiggling when you walk by.
mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
that's really what it's about. I mean,
No, no,
let's
man.
be.
Nothing wrong with that, bro. Like, listen, man. Like, I'm a man with needs, and she's a woman with needs, and nothing wrong with that. It's a God-given gift to Earth here. So you gotta, And I'm not gonna salt the Earth. I'm gonna, replenish the Earth over there. You know what I mean? So,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
I
I'm
mean, when it
excited, man.
dries, it'll look like you've salted it.
Yo, you're wrong for that shit. I just, but, yo, yeah, but like, nah, man. Like, I'm super excited, man. This is a step I've been wanting to take. I've been kind of like, I've been looking at properties, as you know, man. Like, I really wanted to buy a house. Like, that was the big thing. But sometimes in life, you got to realize it's better to like, you know, fold the hand of the cards you're dealt. If you're dealt a bad card, yeah, excuse me, dealt a bad hand, you got to really kind of just sometimes reconvene and see what really makes sense. Because me getting a house at like 200% of its actual value makes no like just yeah, the market value is at its all-time high, and it's gonna crash eventually. So I'm hoping here in a year it'll go a
I
little bit
think it'll
back.
probably be sooner than later.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't, it just sucks, right? Like in the market right now, these are your choices:
Mm,
to buy a home that's going to be underwater in probably the next 4 months when
mm-hmm.
the market just craters,
Mm-hmm.
or rent a place and you're paying the mortgage of whoever has the home, that the value will end up cratering,
Mm,
and then the bank will repossess it and then kick you out.
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's a pessimistic view,
Well, it's not.
but
It's not a pessimistic view. It's a very realistic view. Like you're gonna have people. I think the worst time to buy investment properties is right now because you're buying them at their peak, at their highest value.
yeah.
It's funny. The guy I was talking to today, the landlord. He's like, he's like, I bought this house like the couple in 2004. This is like right at the housing crisis back then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, they bought it, and then he ended up buying it in 2004 for like half of its value. Like it's just you got to be very careful because real estate is one of those things. It's always like it's this tangible thing, and some people think it's forever, but they don't necessarily realize like if you buy a property at its peak, don't expect it to keep going, 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 going. That's not
Yeah,
always how
but
it
you don't know
works.
what the peak is, and that's
That's
the
that's
danger.
that's fair
And
enough.
the thing is that even if you do turn a profit, the profit that you turn is evidence of how housing in this country is so unaffordable. By virtue of you being able to turn a profit,
Mm.
the affordability of living in the country that you're born in takes a hit every single time somebody sells for more than what they paid. So,
Yep,
of
hundred
course,
percent.
that's everybody's dream. But what happens when you sell your house for more than market value, but the money you get from it is not enough to buy the next house?
It's very interesting because like going through this whole process has made me realize of like how truly like we both know I make very extremely good, I make very good fucking money, right? Especially on a per job basis, and like some of the rents that they make people pay, like I'm like, yo, you don't have, they like most people don't have anything left over, right? After they pay their rent, it's like maybe a few $100,
Mm-hmm.
and like I'm the type of person, I don't know, maybe it's because I've kind of always worked and made good amount of money, but like if I don't like have like around 2 to like 3 grand saved per month, like after all my expenses, I don't like to move into that type of property. I don't know if I'm just very blessed, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I've always kind of gone into certain spots that I think would make sense, but you know, I was looking at shit and I'm like, bro, like how the fuck is someone gonna pay these astronomical prices they have right now, even for rent? Uh, if they're working like a regular 9 to 5 job at a factory or some shit, or just even daycare workers, it's insane. Like,
Well, shout out to Black Power Magic Hour. I'm gonna read a tweet from at it's Dana White, not the Dana White that we all know and despise. Um, so check this out. This person is in Washington D.C. Okay.
mhm.
As of today, the minimum wage here in D.C. is $15.20 per hour. That's around $30,000 per year for someone working full time. Before taxes, that's $2,500 per month. The average one-bedroom apartment in DC is around 2269, according to Apartment Lists. So the average one-bedroom apartment is going for more than minimum wage after taxes, which means not only can you not make rent, but even if the landlord did accept every dollar, every cent you made,
Mhm.
you're going to starve to death.
It's just, yeah, that's crazy. Like, unfortunately, right now, a lot of this stuff is that if you don't make at least around 60 a year, in certain areas, you can't survive. Like you just can't. Um, or you'll just be eating fucking canned dog food, and it's unfortunate, but it's just kind of how things are currently constructed right now. So, um, I think there's a lot of ways you can tackle and kind of fix these issues, but you're really gonna have to, you'd have to get to the base issues, and a lot of people don't want to tackle very difficult subjects to kind of, I don't know.
Well, part of that is that why tackle the difficult subject when when you benefit from all the things that go with that
Hmm.
difficult subject. Like a lot of people don't want to talk about critical race theory, and the people who don't want to talk about critical race theory are those that benefit from not talking about critical race theory. So, there are a lot of people in the housing market right now who don't really want to talk about how to solve the problems because really thinking about solving the problems of the housing market means that they would be looking at a lesser return on their investment. So, you
Mm.
know, it's a catch-22 to be sure. But this is why, when you look at the fact that minimum wage all around the country cannot even pay for almost a one-bedroom apartment, a decent place to lay your head, it's important for
Mm.
us men to be thinking way beyond the minimum.
Mm.
And it's really, really important that we do so because while there is a fight for 15, which still isn't enough, because if we're being honest, $30,000 as being the poverty line, no. If you can't even rent a one bedroom apartment and it doesn't even include like eating food
Mm.
or having clothing or transportation to work, $30,000, it's not the poverty line anymore, right? But as much as I believe that we should not have a society that allows people to be in abject poverty and misery, there's another side to this equation, and that is, do you as a man want to be worried about what the minimum wage is? And what I mean by that is minimum wage something that you're looking at as a possibility in your life? Because even if we forced all employers to pay a living wage, you'll be existing, you'll be surviving, but you won't be living. As men, we're looked down upon for doing the bare minimum.
Mm. I wouldn't disagree. Like if a guy does, if the guy just half asses right in life, he's just gonna be looked down about, right? Like if you're not willing to put the effort forth and work your ass off, you are gonna be looked down upon. And I don't necessarily disagree. So
So the
I
importance
think you
of
need shame. Like that episode you have. I think there
yeah,
should be shame. I do.
the episode we have that
Yeah,
I did.
that you did. But that's what I said. Like it's our show, but you did a great job, and I think there needs to be shame. I think men need to, it's not all men's fault, but they need to be mentored in a better way. But we need to stop being complacent. I think you need to carefully take risks. I know that's an oxymoron in a way, but you need to be very calculated with how you move in life.
I think that I think that I only probably agree with that statement maybe 15%. 15%. I mostly disagree. Here's why. Okay? So, what inspired the direction for this particular episode, I was having a conversation with an old friend. Okay. Shout out to Jimmy Dean. Always. Uh, um, I was having a conversation with an old friend. Okay, and you know, we used to work together at my first sales job. All right, he was a couple years younger than me. We used to work with each other on my first sales job, and I ran into him later in life, about a decade later,
Mm-hmm.
and I was a fucking loser. Okay, at the time I was unemployed. Right, so he was working at a convenience store, and he gets me a job stocking shelves. Okay, I was like 27, 28 years old, working for very close to minimum wage, stocking shelves at a convenience store. Okay? So, needless to say, you could say I wasn't very ambitious. I mean, some of the ambition was starting to grow, but Jimmy Dean's coming after you today. Um, uh, yeah.
Fuck,
Uh,
man.
so he helps me get this job, and I was kind of starting to really get into getting my personal training certification at the time, and he helps me get this job. And when we talk about the proper shame, like what you mentioned in a previous TSP episode, the importance
Mm-hmm.
that the proper amount of shame plays in keeping society somewhat in order.
Mm-hmm.
I felt a lot of shame because here I am, damn near 30 years old, working for damn near minimum wage, with all the intelligence that I had, all the potential that I had. And how did that affect me at home? Well, the woman that you see here on Saturdays helping me host the MMA watch party, she was starting to look in other directions. Now, a lot of dudes would say, she belongs to the streets, or, these hoes ain't loyal and blah blah blah. But in reality, I was a fucking loser. And what woman wants to be attached to a loser? Let's just call that exactly what it is. So at the time, he helps me get this job, and because he was like a shift lead there or an assistant manager or something.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all the way up until this year, this same guy was working in the same place, in the same position he was back then, which is a disappointment to me because I know that this is a guy that has a lot of potential. Okay? The dude gets laid off. They give him 24 weeks severance after 12 years on the job. Okay? And we're having this debate because now he's not worried about trying to be a store manager at a convenience store. No. Now he wants to get into real estate. Now he wants to get into trading securities. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're having this discussion about how women deal with men on the open market. And one of the things I thought was really, really funny is that he says that the money that a man makes matters not. It matters what his confidence is. See, women don't care about money. They care about confidence. Okay? Now, the funny thing about that is that he couldn't substantiate his position. I had a bunch of different examples of why I thought he was incorrect on this, okay? And then he says, well, I've bagged a bunch of chicks, and I haven't made a whole lot of money. And I'm like, well, And then I got to ask you what quality of these chicks. So he proceeds to send me photographs of these girls. And he's like, yo, you know, these girls, like I pull some bad chicks. And then I looked at the chicks, Paul. And
I didn't know this going.
yeah, I need the sound effect. Hey, Clinks, I need you to help. I need you to help with this soundboard. Uh, average at best, fit the bill.
Yeah.
Okay? I looked at these chicks. One of them looked average with like what looks like 2 or 3 hours worth of makeup done on her face.
Mm.
And she looked average. And then there was another chick that was kind of looking average with no makeup on. So she might have looked better. But we're talking about 4.5 to 5.5 on the rating scale. Okay? Then there was a third one that I was like, ooh wee. She's a little overweight. And he's like, oh yeah, she has 2 kids. I was like, yeah. So you go from a 7 minus 3 points, right? Right? You're minus 1 because you're overweight, and you're minus 1 for each child that you have.
Oh,
But she was
shit.
married when she had the kids, which is why she's only minus 1 instead of minus 2 per child.
Oof.
So it turns out that she went from a 7 to a 4, which is about average. So he sends me photos of 3 average women, and he's like, yo, I could pull. And it's like, this is why. This is one of the reasons why I look to this as an example to teach some of you guys out there. When you're not ambitious, it is going to be reflected in the kind of attention that you get from women because, like it or not, it is in a woman's DNA to be a gold digger. Not the kind of gold digger that you see out in social media that's outward and nasty about it, right? In fact, I'm going to switch that up because I've seen women call it this before in the past. They don't call themselves gold diggers. They call themselves goal diggers. They're searching for men that have goals to shoot for. Why is that important? Speak to him, Mr. Jimmy Dean. Speak to him. Speak to him. Okay? Why? What is so alluring about ambition in a man? What is so not alluring about ambition in a woman that turns men off? It's the same thing, guys. It is a masculine trait. So these are the traits that we're not looking for in women, but we are looking for in other men. Like, as a man, I'm looking to you. I'm judging you as a fellow man, as a peer, based upon your ambition. What are you doing to make your mark in the world? And women are also judging you based upon what you're doing to make your mark in the world. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So let's call it what it is, okay? Captain Paul's situation is not the best situation for creating a bond with a woman. Why is that the case?
Because I'm gone half the year. I'm gone half the year, and it's a very long working days. It's a very
Hey, a very special welcome to Cinevision. We're gonna use Cinevision today also as an example. Okay, Cinevision is a partner of somebody that I hold very, very high regard and esteem for. Do you know who Cinevision is, Captain Paul?
No idea.
Cinevision is the girlfriend of Louis Rossman.
Oh, no shit.
No shit. Yeah.
Shit, boy. Goddamn.
Cinevision is an excellent example of what the fuck I'm talking about. See, guys, it's easy to say, and you know, here, this is a male-focused channel.
There we go.
You know that we're going to hold women accountable for waiting at the finish line, meaning women who look for guys who have already made it and then want to chase the guy that's already made it without having to go through any of the difficulties that he had to go through to make it, right? But see, the thing about Cinevision is that she saw a man, whether she didn't probably know just about we're not look we don't know if she thought that he would be successful.
Mm-hmm.
But what she saw that would draw her to somebody like Lewis, and why people respect Lewis, is because he has a lot of ambition. He always wants to push for more. He always wants to push to make things better. He wants to push to make other people better. He wants to push to make sure that we have proper rights for consumers here in this country. Okay? Whether or not Louis Rossman had a lot of money, she saw somebody who was trying to make moves in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Thus and therefore, he's going to attract somebody like her, because I remember when he first told me about her, I was just like, yeah. Of course, Cinevision is going to prefer Oreo to BlackBerry or Mr. Clinton. My second lady also is a big fan of Oreo. I don't know what it is about Asian women and Oreo, but oh my God. But, you can't really tell whether or not Louis Rossman is you can't really tell whether or not Louis Rossman is wealthy, but he is going to attract some physically attractive women because they see that he's a man with vision moving somewhere. Okay? I'll give you an example of the opposite. This might blow your fucking mind, Paul. There is somebody very near and dear to me. I love this dude like the brother I never had. Okay? The dude makes almost $250,000 a year.
Mm. It's a good money.
There's not a whole lot of passion in that marriage. Why is that the case? Because when he met his wife, things, he was working at some firm somewhere, and then he meets his really pretty wife, and then she starts pushing him because that's what women do. She's like, okay, I see potential in you. Okay, let's get some return on this investment. This investment in my time. This investment in my womb, potentially. Let's push you to do better, because that is what leaders do. Women want to be with leaders. Women, whether they want to admit it or not, they want a man that they could brag about, because they are competing with other women based upon the caliber, the kind of caliber of man that they have that has chosen to stick with them after they've had sex with them, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's very easy for a woman to get sex. What's not so easy is to get commitment after she's parted the knees, right? Mm-hmm. So the goal for a lot of women is part the knees to collect the G's, right? But a woman has not succeeded in what she's doing. A woman has not succeeded in what she's doing unless she's able to collect the G's on the back end after parting the knees. See, for better or for worse, women tend to trade their sexual value for security. So, yes, Jimmy Dean, you're absolutely correct. Women, by and large, use men as a surrogate to establish a hierarchy. I have more value as a woman because my man has more value than your man. Or I have more value, dude, because I was able to lock down a man that has value, and you're perpetually single.
So I think it does gotta go hand in hand though. Like a man has to be driven to be appealing to women, like to me, because it's just
Mm-hmm.
you'll see many dudes, even not necessarily the most attractive looking dudes, if they have ambition and they have goals and they have drive and they're hustling and they're fucking busting their ass, they can pull like nines and tens.
Absolutely, and they
And
could be 5'4" and look like that. Ha! Got him, guy. Right.
mhm.
So Cinevision claps back, fires some shots. I don't brag about Lewis. Actually, I keep him on the download in public. But do you? Because Lewis has claimed Cinevision in public. Everybody knows who she is. So there's no reason for her to have to brag because it's already been established publicly that she is in that position of security. There's no reason to have to brag because he's already made it very known. She's in his videos. She's in the background. She creates the ambiance and the atmosphere for the videos he does in at home, right? She's also done a lot of things that men are looking for women to do. Women are in their element when they are in an assistant role to a man with a vision. The woman doesn't want to be in a position where she has to have the vision and then the man is kind of following behind her. Women
No,
don't like to be in that position.
no, they don't like to be in the leadership of relationship. Generally, female led relationships do not last
They
long.
do not work out. You're going
Yeah,
to end up dumping
they
that
do not
guy.
last long because they get tired of it. Even the most staunch, huge third wave or fourth wave feminist.
Why do you think Cinevision has been able to last this long with a guy with the particular taste like Louis Rossman? Why do you think she's been able to stick around? I've always referred to myself as support. This young lady has always looked at herself as kind of in that wife type role.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
No, I absolutely understand. I agree. I just, like for me, when it comes down to it, is that female led relationships, even with the most like feminist women, like the fourth, third wave, whatever you want to call it these days,
Mm-hmm.
they're generally unhappy
And
because
why is that?
at their core, they want to be led by a man,
See,
and
one of the crazy things about that, Paul, that you say that, and I love that you said that. Every single time you've ever heard a radical feminist start talking that nonsense about how men should be more like women, when you look at the male womanist and the qualities that they espouse, the hardcore womanist is repulsed by those men. Now they keep saying these men should be more emotionally available and they need to be nicer and kinder and softer and blah 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 blah. But in the end, when the guys try to cozy up to them with those qualities, they are repulsed.
100%. Well, it's one of those situations where I've had friends of mine, girls that like they're eights, nines, and tens, and like they'll be like, oh, like I don't, and some of them are very just called out as extremely liberal, so they have like, oh, I wish the guy was more emotionally available, and then they'll get that guy like, oh, he's kind of a pussy. So it's like you can't have it both ways, right? To me, a good relationship, from what I've learned from my own upbringing, is that the man's got to be the more rational side. Do we have emotional side as well? Yes, we do. Do we have some men, myself, I have a little bit of a temper, yeah, that's fine. But like the man should be a little bit more rational. The woman's going to be emotional. And like people view that as like an attack on women. To me, that's a good thing because you want a nice balancing act. Because
Absolutely.
I've had
Yin
my
and yang.
girl, Laura, tell me like, yo, you like Paul, you need to calm down. Like you're not like, just, stop
She
being
brings
kind
you
like,
back to center.
yeah, stop being such an asshole. So like
Right.
it's
She helps you
because
with the line change because you're getting a little tired out there.
yeah, you do get a little tired, get a little pissed off. Like today, I went to that place for one of the first apartment I looked at. It was a dog shit, and I even told the guy in the face, I said, bro, like, why did you even bother showing me this place if you're not going to clean it? And he looked shocked, but I'm very blunt. And then she just pitched my like, Paul, calm down. Like I'm one of those people. Like everything is like present. Like if you're trying to make me pay your mortgage, right? Present it to me in a way that makes it appetizing to me. So I literally. I know that I don't know if that's shallow or what it is, but I have very high standards. I'm like, if you're not even willing to fucking sweep the steps and pick up the fucking gross shit off the counters, what makes you think you're going to be a good landlord in my eyes to you? My
Right.
head,
Right.
just bunch of red flags already. Because if you can't do the small shit right, I know for sure as fuck you can't do the big things.
Yeah.
But but women and men complement each other, and when these womanists, because I like that term, these womanists, when they go on these whole like, oh, men got to be softer, men got to be this, like any relationship I know where a woman's like said that, they date the most fucking alpha man type dudes. They don't date the soft. Oh, sweetie, let me write you some poetry on the fucking tree. Oh yeah, we can sing and serenade you with John Mayer songs. Like, that's not how the fuck it works.
Yo, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I have to do this, but it looks like Cinevision is about to be canceled by the Womanist Brigade on YouTube and Twitter. Check out this explosive comment here. Women do not want to boss around men. Compromise is important, but I don't want a guy seeking direction from me. Oh my God, Cinevision is in trouble. Oh no,
But that's
no.
and to be fair, that's like I would say 70, 80.
No, another ugly truth. I can't take it. I can't take it. No, no. I'm sorry, woman that's out there. I didn't say it. She did.
But it's like this.
You know what's really funny?
That's at the core. That's what they want. They want some man with direction and leadership. I'm not saying every man's going to be the president of the firm or the president of their company, right? But they're going to want a guy with some type of drive and direction, because
a guy who wants to be president of himself. You see what's really, what's really funny, Captain?
Yeah.
You know what's really fun? You know what's really funny? And I never really put these two concepts together in my mind before, but it just blows my goddamn mind. The Womanist Brigade will talk about how men, they mansplain and they dominate everything, and they beat women all the time and they violate women all the time, blah blah blah, right? Mm-hmm. But what group of men do they make fun of the most?
The beta males, the very soft,
nice guy.
Yeah, the nice guy.
They have this whole hatred. They have this whole hatred campaign surrounded around trying to tear down the nice guy. When we're talking about the mythical friend zone, and we'll talk about that in a future episode, guys. You might want to unsubscribe now, because what I have to say about the friend zone, you're probably going to be pretty offended by, but we'll get into that later. Okay, not tonight, but another time.
I think this all encompasses what we're talking about with this episode, though, because men need to have ambition, right? You can't be static with where you are in life, right? And expect to have. If you have no drive, right, then what necessarily is appealing to you? What's a woman of high caliber going to be desiring in you? If you're just fine working that 9-to-5 job, even myself, right? The job I'm in where I make good money, dude, I've taken classes, trainings. You know how much I'm getting sign-offs to get promoted. Like that's my motivation. Like I want to be the captain of my ship, and then down the road, hopefully in 20 years, I'm the senior captain. I'm leading the whole fucking thing. Because that's the drive, bro. Like that's the thing, man. I am the captain now. But I think that's the thing, man. Like you got to have goals in life. Like my goal is to become a captain and then become a senior captain, then maybe become a port captain where I run the whole fleet, right? That'd be fucking like that's my end game, right? Where for me also, my goal is this podcast, right? I want this to be millions and millions of subscribers, right?
Millions of dollars.
So like I think it's good to have dudes that have ambition and drive and are willing to fucking put in the work. And I think it's these women that say that, I want this soft, affectionate man, this dude that, is considering feelings. Like you're gonna have to pick either or. And that's just the truth. That is just
no, but the thing is, women see. Here's the thing. This is why it's so important for men to maintain their dominance in society, because no matter what the radical thinkers are saying, the actions are going to be the opposite. Let me tell you something. I was telling you about this dude that I'm really close to. Okay. When he was with his wife, right?
Mhm.
Earlier in their relationship. And she pushed him. He then became he created his own business. But then he threw his business away to become a cog in a machine. Now he's a very handsomely paid cog in that machine. Okay? But here's the problem. He's a cog in a machine. And what he's been doing over the years is furthering other people's career and remaining stagnant where he's probably better than everybody in his company. He's technically better, talented, like the dude's talent is out of this world, but the problem is that there's a complacency there. And you have to understand that the ambition side of things is not just important to get the respect of women, but also to get the respect from other men, because the man has proven that he is at the top of the company, but he's only in middle management. Why? Because even the men that make the decisions there and the women that make the decisions there don't respect him because he's passive. He is content. Nobody wants a man around that's just kind of like, okay, everything, No, nobody's going to want to watch a podcast called the Talking Shit Podcast if we're just content to have the same 6 viewers every time, right? No. They're going to want to see that we're going to push the envelope, that we're going to be consistent, that we're going to continue to tell people to subscribe to the YouTube channel, bit.ly/capital TALKIN _capital SHT. Okay. Follow us on Narsagram, Twitter, and Twitch, all TALKIN _SH_T. If you want us to cover certain topics on the show, please email us at talkingshitpodcastllc@gmail.com. Okay? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, the thing is that, see, yes, a person is very driven. What does that mean to a woman, bottom line? Financial security. Okay? But even more than that, like I said, the dude that I'm talking about has all the financial security in the world. But here's the problem. The mindset prevents both men and women from respecting him, even though he is the best, the brightest, the most talented, simply because he's got a large Adam's apple, he has facial hair, and he's passive.
I think sometimes dudes get stuck in the trap of foregoing their ambition and drive for security.
Yes, a woman always wants to see that a guy ensures his own financial security. But the thing is that a woman does not care about what a man can do for himself. A woman cares about what that man can do for her. Okay? And we're not talking about one individual woman. We're talking about women naturally, instinctually. They look to men to provision, provide, and protect.
So, my big thing here is that, yes, like your friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
He could go into the cog of the machine, right? And then run it on the side, like run a side hustle. Do you think, and I don't know the numbers of what he was making.
You got to understand, Cinevision, we're not talking about you. There's a reason why you're with Louis Rossman and all the other women out there are not with Louis Rossman that have tried to get with Louis Rossman. There is a reason, young lady, and that is because you do not represent most females that are out there, unfortunately.
Do you think that
most women, if they get divorced from a man, they're hiring, especially a man of means, they're hiring a lawyer, and they're trying to take that man for everything he's worth.
Now, do you think that when it comes down to it with the ambition of this individual, when he had his own company, do you have any idea, ballpark, of what the income was, like net?
I don't, but I do know that his personal situations were more interesting to him.
So
because his partner is going to be attracted. His partner is going to be attracted to those traits
now,
because of what it means evolutionarily.
to be fair though, right? Just playing devil's advocate here. If this dude left the situation to make twice the money, right? If he became a cog to make twice the money, and if this guy had more drive at his workplace, right? Like he had more of a no, I ain't gonna take your shit attitude. I think because I don't want to make it like if you take a high paying job and for a bigger company or bigger organization, right? That oh you're just as fucking oh you're weak or driven. Like you can still have ambition and work for those companies, but you
Did you
can't be
not
walked
hear what
over.
the fuck I said, motherfucker? There's
Yeah,
a reason why I brought him up.
right.
Because
Well,
let's
I
say,
did
let's say,
understand what you
so,
said.
so,
I'm
so,
just
so,
expanding
so,
upon it.
so let's say he makes $250,000 a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, let's just say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say he took home $125,000 owning his own business. Let's just say. Let's say that he is making double what he was making then. Let's just say. Why is it that he had more passion in his relationship then and less passion in his relationship since he became a cog in the wheel? Because the actual nominal dollar amount doesn't matter as much as whether or not your partner views you as somebody who remains in his masculine frame. See, one of the things, and when I saw that Kevin Samuels made this statement, I really marveled at this because Kevin Samuels mainly talks to the black community, and one of the things that he says to these, these single black women who are strong, independent, and don't need no man.
Mm-hmm.
He says to them, he's like, these women say, "Oh, I can be feminine if the right guy it comes around that makes six figures and blah blah blah." But he says, you know what? The illegal immigrants that sells oranges on the corner that makes less than minimum wage, he still gets femininity from his wife. And he doesn't make a lot of money. Why is that the case? Because that guy who's the illegal immigrant, he has ambition. He went from a place that is like war torn for all intents and purposes, poverty, and he risked his life, and in some ways you could say his family's life. He risked his life
Mm-hmm.
to go across the border where a bunch of MAGA heads are waiting to shoot them, and he takes the chance anyway.
Okay. Come on.
He takes
Relax.
the chance.
Relax.
He takes the chance, right, to enter
Yeah.
the country illegally to just do that much better. And the thing is that we look down on them because they make almost nothing compared to us, right?
Mhm.
But the thing is, he's working tirelessly and taking chances to go from wherever they were to what is perceived to be a better situation. So he is still going to be able to get femininity from his partner, even though there are men of other races who make more money that are not getting that same kind of femininity. Why?
Well, so
Because it's not necessarily the dollar amount, but the mentality of the man. The woman wants to see that he is going to step up and do for her and do his best to increase her standard of living. Wherever the fuck they were from, she wants to see that he is going to work tirelessly to increase that.
so basically, long story short, he lost his nuts. Let's just call it out. He lost his drive, lost his masculine frame.
Or the thing is that he may not have even lost his balls.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks like he did, and that's all that you need to fuck it up. I fucked up a situation with a really attractive woman who has a whole lot more money than me and you. Okay? In January 2021. Okay? I fucked up a situation because I showed a side of myself that appeared to her to be less masculine. So while she was super physically attracted in me,
What did
she
you?
was instantly repulsed because of certain things that made me look less masculine in her eyes.
Like what?
Like I showed more of my emotion.
Oh, okay. All
Right?
No, and yeah, that's fair because I think when you're
It doesn't
starting,
make me any less of a man.
No, but like the problem is there's a stereotype with men where you got to be a little bit more stoic, but
Right.
that
And
leads
I was
that
anything
leads into
but.
other issues. But
Right. I was
yeah,
anything but, right? In
right.
that moment, right? Because I got lost in that moment.
But
But she went
that
from
goes into the
smitten
earlier
to
conversation we
repulsed
were
like
having.
that.
That was the earlier conversation we having though, like where women aren't necessarily attracted, right, to
Right.
vulnerable men. They're just not. They're
Right.
just
Exactly.
at their core, they're not attracted to that.
And you know
Now
what a
that's
complacent man is? A
what's that?
complacent man is not ready for any threat. That's a
Mm.
vulnerable man.
And to be fair, like this kind of goes into the greater scheme of this episode is that when uh I think if you put yourself in a vulnerable situation, especially with dating or anything, you can really only show that emotional side when you really, really get to know the
Right.
person, right? Like
Right.
you can't
Because it
just
looks
be
like you're putting them on a pedestal.
exactly
And
like
a
you just
woman never truly wants to be put on a pedestal, guys.
no.
Right? She, just like uh it sucks to say it as Jimmy Dean, but it's the truth, man.
It is the
It's
truth.
the truth. It sucks to say it. But I mean, you've heard from Cinevision. And thank you, Cinevision, for definitely adding to this conversation.
Mm.
Because you definitely have added a lot. And again, I said it from the beginning. This platform is for men to know that we value men, we value the contributions that men have made to society, which is pretty much almost all of them. Okay? But this platform is also for women who recognize the value of men, who still love and respect men. And this is a platform for the voices of those women, like Cinevision, like Up Your Ram. Women who, yeah, we live in a modern world, but we're not buying into this whole rhetoric about men being obsolete, men being replaceable and disposable, and all of this garbage, right?
Yeah.
We're here to not only hold the modern woman accountable, but also hold up shining examples of women that come through here, women that I know personally that prove my point, so that men understand that there is actually a reward for being ambitious. Because again, we men, we look at the cost and the benefit, right? We look at the risk and the reward. And if the juice doesn't seem like it's worth the squeeze, we're not going to put the effort in. And let's just keep it up 100. You know, at least let's just like keep it 100 here, okay? A lot of the visible modern women are not worth the effort. So a lot of guys just say, you know what? Let me get that PS5. Let me get that premium Pornhub account. Right? Let me get that DoorDash, that Uber Eats. Right?
I never get the Uber Eats shit. Like, it's side note, man. Like, why am I gonna pay like $20 more to get delivered to me? When I can just
Because
go
a
to the
lot of
drive-thru?
guys think that that is better than having to deal with the modern woman who doesn't know how to cook anyway.
Well, not all these.
The modern woman. I'm not
all right.
talking about the traditional woman. We
That's
got
true.
we got fucking chicks out there making millions of dollars bragging to other women about how they got the ring, but they don't cook or clean.
Yeah, but I feel like those women are fucking delusional though in a lot of sense.
They are delusional, but the problem is that the women who are visible tend to be more delusional than not. But here's the thing, guys. I'm here to tell you something. I'm here to tell you something. It's like a light at the end of the tunnel, a silver lining to the cloud. Is that the majority? Because remember, the majority only needs to be greater than 50%. It can be 50.1%. But the majority of women out there are good women.
Yeah.
The problem is they're not visible. But here's the thing that gives, every time I think of this concept, I get chills because it makes me excited, because I know that somebody's going to hear this and they're going to yes, the loud minority, right? Somebody's going to hear this and they're going to benefit from this. You see, men, when you're ambitious, even if you are working in the mailroom or you're stocking shelves for minimum wage, if you are ambitious, women can smell it on you. And the good women who are not out there flapping their fucking gums on Narcigram or Twitter or Tumblr or whatever the fuck these annoying ass chicks are.
Some don't even exist anymore.
I don't know. I don't give a fuck. But the point is that the good women who are not out there running their goddamn mouth, when they see that you're out there trying to make your mark, not make somebody else's mark in the world, not trying to be the next somebody else, but when you are becoming the best version of yourself to push to make your mark on the world, then the minority, the majority of women that you don't normally really see, they're going to start kind of just diffusing through the woodwork. They're just going to end up near where you are in the spaces that you are.
I just saw what you mean, what the fuck. No, man, like I think a lot of things in life would be a lot better if you just have drive, right? As a young guy, even older guys, if you don't have drive in life, you're not going to go anywhere. So, you know, you got to have a plan, have some type of motivation. Shit, dude, sometimes you even got to fake psych yourself up, you know what I mean? Like there's days, dude, I'm just not feeling it at work and I'm just like, oh, fucking, you know what I mean? Just pump your ups.
And what did I say on episode 5, TSP? Every day you're going to have to wake up and recommit to getting the work done because you're not going to have it every time. I tell my personal training clients this, male and female, there are going to be days that you are going to want to late cancel and just pay me for the work that I didn't do. You're going to want to do that. But you're going to show up and you're going to recommit to getting the work done every time out. And you should look to see the gains that my clients have gotten, some of them without equipment. Okay? Because I keep them mentally focused on what the journey is. Fuck the goal, the journey. Today we're going to grab a victory. Today you didn't have it, but you went digging for it anyway. You recommitted to getting the work done.
You gotta do it day at a time.
Women will be able to sniff that on you. They will end up, you're going to end up, oh, I met this random chick and this random, no, you put yourself in that situation. So going back to the original inspiration for this episode, I told my friend, I said, well, now you want to trade securities and go into real estate, right? What you don't understand is that you're about to enter a realm of access that you never thought possible. Yep. Jocko Willenick, the Goggins guy. Yeah, I watched some of those episodes. Yeah, you got to conquer your, you know, sometimes you got to go searching for the pain and find pleasure in that pain as a man. You got to go through shit. You got to struggle, right? But then you have to love the struggle because you know that something better is coming on the other side of that. And when women watch a man struggle, they now want to assist. You notice how a lot of women always want to save a guy, right? Right? A lot of times they're wasting their time with a douchebag. But if they see that you're actually struggling to accomplish something, they'll be right there to save you and to continue to push you along the way. Right? But if you are complacent, you're going to have issues. So my guy was talking about, well, I got all this I got all this confidence, and I bet you I could pull a chick better than you with my Metro card, and you're sitting in the Benz. Well, I'm sorry to say, sir, but the thing is that I'm going to feel a little bit more confident because I'm not on the subway. I'm in the Benz, you know? And here's the thing about him, right? He thinks that he's been with attractive women. And I looked at these women. Average at best. Okay? And what I explained to him is these are the women that you meet when you're content being an assistant manager at a convenience store for a decade. Right? So that's your level. But because you have not seen the other side, you think that that's all there is. But one of the things you don't know, sir, is that you're going into two fields that require ambition. Real estate, because there's so much competition.
It's cutthroat as fuck. It is
Cutthroat,
cutthroat, bro. Like
right?
you'll have someone take your knees out if possible.
Yeah, sometimes literally.
Yeah.
And securities trading. You're getting into stocks and crypto, and
That's a big gamble too when you start doing that shit.
but that's
like,
what women want to see, Paul. Women
I
want to
get
see
that.
you take the
I
fucking
get
gamble.
that. I get that.
Did you
I'm
not watch
just
The Wolf of Wall Street?
motherfucker? Of course I did. What I'm
Again,
saying,
that's why when you were talking when
is
you were
that
talking
shit
about that
is
calculated
the
risk shit, I
fucking
told you that I 85% disagree with you. Why? Because women don't want to see you kind of pussyfooting, right? Look,
nah.
Cinevision
Like,
said
listen,
it.
like,
Look at the comment. Look at what Cinevision said. Courage means that you're gonna have to take some leaps of faith.
bro, I'm not saying not to take leaps of faith. I'm saying don't be something like so fucking stupid where you're putting your whole house on the line for something you've never done before.
I
Educate
don't know,
yourself
man.
before you
That
do
seems
it.
to get the nether regions quite moist.
Bro, like, yeah, and it also makes me fucking broke as fuck and be homeless. So like there's different
But the thing
levels to this
is
shit.
that but the thing is, look, well, let me pull the comment up again. What's the first word she said? Resiliency. See, women will understand if a man fails, but are you willing to keep the courage? Are you resilient enough to keep that courage to continue to try to be successful? That's what they're looking for. And as long as you keep up the ambition,
I slightly agree with you, but
dude, I mean, dude, there's so
like,
many guys. There's so many guys to point to that have all of this access based upon them constantly taking these wild ass chances.
right, but you are more known about the pro. You're more going to hear about the success stories where this works out, but even in let's be honest.
But have you talked to the
Probably
women? Have you talked to the women who were given that sloppy toppy when the business ventures were failing?
Yes.
Have you talked to those women? Because
I know
women
what I know.
who stick with those men, they know that there is a big pot of gold at the end. Gold at the end of the rainbow.
Some of them don't stick. I know this from intimate knowledge.
And then you know what happens?
You're not going to say names, but if you had somebody, and I'm just trying to be vague as possible here. I had somebody I know, her marry a dude.
Here's a woman. Look at this woman's comment.
No, and I don't disagree, but there's also got to be some cautious risk as well, because I'm just saying from personal anecdote experience, one girl I know married this dude, and he put all on black. Let's just put it that way. Put all on black.
No, I'm talking about business ventures. I'm not talking about Vegas.
He went bankrupt as fuck because he put everything into his business, which I'm going to tell you right now, it was a stupid one. I'm not, like I said, I'm being very careful with how I word this.
I know.
It's a stupid idea because he's like, oh, it's going to be million. He saw one guy do it and he's like, oh, I can do that shit. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it bankrupt both of them. House was foreclosed on.
Mm-hmm.
Like they lost everything.
Did he give up after he lost everything?
Yeah, I'd actually have to say, I don't know. He's still working and trying to grind to get back to what he had, but he
didn't give up.
In a sense, though.
Do you know what's going to happen?
He gave up.
Did she leave him? Did she leave him?
Yeah.
Okay, Paul. There are and I've heard this. I've seen it in movies, so because art imitates life. I've seen it in movies. I've seen it in music. Okay. There's always that story of chick did not believe in me, and then I made it, and now she on me. Right?
Yeah.
There are so many examples of that kind of shit, Paul. In fact, I'm expecting some of the ghosts of Vagina's past to be showing up in my life when we go viral. I'm expecting it.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you this, man, and I'm not disagreeing you. I'm just
ambitious idiots get sloppy toppy hash slinging slasher.
The one part I disagree with is because I want guys that see this in the future, guys that watch this now, even women, take risks because you're gonna have to if you want to go and achieve your goals. educate yourselves as well, because I've seen people make some fucking, I'm just gonna fuck it, send it, and then they fucking send it to the wrong shit, you know. And I get it. Like, I'm a part, dude. I'll be honest with you. You know how many women hit me up after they found out, like, oh, like shit, oh, he's doing what? Because you know how many people wrote me off. I had some. Thank you. I had some fucking stories, right, when they found out when I got my slop. He doesn't know?
He doesn't know about the sloppy toppy.
Bro, you need to Google that right now. Well, like, my thing is, bro, I had people when I had that diagnosis, like a girl, like, done, like, oh, you're gonna, like, literally told me, oh, you're gonna die most likely. Mm-hmm. So, like, yo, like, my thing is, it's like, you know, same old girl hit me up actually like last year at some point, and I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, you know, like, it's funny. You get girls and like women, I should say, that fucking like, oh wow, you're fucking making a lot of money and shit. Oh wow, it's like, yeah, suck my dick. But you know, literally. But
do you know why I have this cheesy ass smile on my face?
What's that?
Look at the YouTube comments. Yeah. So I don't think that you're quite getting the point that I'm trying, because the thing is, you're talking about success and sustained success. Now, you don't know me to be a particularly reckless guy, yes or no?
No, you're not reckless. No.
Okay. So obviously I am not advocating for people to do dumb shit, obviously, right? Okay. So we're not really talking about, you know, stupid risks, calculated risks. What I'm talking about is female nature. And a female's nature is to be attracted to men who are taking risks, both calculated, and somebody else had a comment here, and idiotic. Okay? Women are attracted to both. And how many times have we seen evidence of that? Why? No, because no risk, no reward. And women are going to be very protective of what they have. So somebody's got to take the risk. Right? Again, a man that's willing to risk it all is probably going to risk his life for the woman. Evolutionarily, she knows this. So it doesn't really matter whether the risk is smart or not. It's the fact that you're willing to take the risk. You see, when I was not willing to take risks and I was paralyzed by indecision, there wasn't a whole lot of passion at home, here, in the house of evil. Okay? But I can tell you that when I started calculating stuff and then started taking risks, so that I'm not just relying on a 401k. I'm trying to make it where I make 401k.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Educated fucking risk, because what you were telling.
But that's not the point. But that's not the point. That's not the point.
What I'm saying is, what you were saying is, like, it doesn't matter recklessness.
It doesn't matter when we're talking about attracting women, because in the end, that is the main thing that men want. Men want to attract women who are of value to in the ways that men find value in women, right? So we're just talking about that. Of course, we will talk about how to take calculated risk, how to take the smart risk, right? Like, for instance, I do one show, I take the proceeds from that show, and I use it to fund this show. That is a calculated risk. That's not stupid shit. I didn't, you know, run up all my credit cards, okay? Again, I'm not advocating for the stupid risk, but what I'm saying is that look at human history, okay? There's been a lot of guys taking stupid risks, and they get a lot of sloppy toppy. Why? Because women are attracted to guys who are ambitious, and it does not matter if they are calculated or idiotic. Women are naturally, and that's all I'm saying. I'm not going past that.
No, fair enough. I'll give you that. I'm just saying, because what we're trying to do on this platform is build up men, correct? What I'm saying is just like, yo, guys, like obviously that is true. Women are attracted to that in a sense. Listen, you know how many fucking women I know that have dated the reckless idiots? Like that's obviously that's a fucking thing.
But why did they do that?
Because I get it. They're attracted to that recklessness or attracted to
And
that ambition.
what do most modern men want but can't get access to?
Women.
Exactly. So,
But
again, we can't give all the game in one episode because then what will we have to talk about in episode 23?
that's true.
Right?
So we'll go into a next
So that's why
episode
I'm
with a
saying
further
the
long
importance
discussion.
of ambition. We'll get into, making calculated risks and all of that later on. But it's the importance of ambition because let's just face it. And this is the reason why I'm framing it this way, Paul, is that the modern man does not see a reason to be ambitious at all, to even get shit started because they don't believe that the juice is worth the squeeze. It is definitely better for them to be complacent, to make $50,000 a year, have their little apartment, PS5, there's free prawn that they can watch, right? So there's their sexual access, right? They have a roof over their head. They don't need fancy furniture. They get a twin bed with the coils, sticking up, right? And a wooden chair from IKEA, right? And a 75-inch TV with a PS5. And they're fine with that, right? But the thing is that they may be fine with it, but they're not happy. Okay, how can we kind of start giving them some hope? They can at least start thinking, okay, I'm doing okay for myself, but is there a reason to try to go any further than this? Right? Now, the thing is that somebody like Louis Rossman is not saying, oh, let me learn how to do component level board repair so that I can get a hot chick. No, that's not him. He just thinks that if I just make this thing better, then I made that thing better, and then I can go on and make something else better. Because that's the way his brain works, right? It just so happens that he attracts women pretty much everywhere, okay? He's not doing it for the women, but the thing is, Louis Rossman is not every man. Most men, the reason why the world was built the way that it's built, the reason why we have air conditioning and cell phones and Mercedes-Benz cars is because men were pushed to innovate because vagina is the mother of invention. Because if you're not innovating, then you're not getting any vagina. And vagina is a necessity. So on this channel, we're going to say that vagina is the mother of invention. Because men are always seeking the sexual attention of the opposite sex, and they're willing to push the envelope. What happens when you push the envelope? You get bigger, better, faster, stronger.
Fair enough.
But here's the difference, Jimmy Dean. Jimmy Dean saying that's not just restricted to modern men. Access to women has been the number one issue since the beginning. But what has not been the issue since the beginning is men giving up and saying it's not worth it. Back in the day, men would fight wars. Men would fight wars over access to vagina.
But to be fair, I'm not
Look at
excusing
this.
it.
This is also true. I think somebody's biological clock is ticking. Women tend to want strong, ambitious males as a mentor for children since they want their kids to succeed. That is true. I wonder why she's saying that.
But I think to be fair though, right? And this is why we made the show as we have, is that when it comes down to it, a lot of modern men don't know how to enter that masculine frame or how to be that guy, right?
Or the components. They don't even know what the components of what masculinity is.
And I'll be honest with you, they get told what masculinity is and all this shit, and then
it's in the Gillette commercial.
They get the fucking ridiculous stereotypes of it. They don't get the actual fucking like what it truly is and the benefits of it. They just make it, oh, it's toxic and all this shit. It's like, no, there's certain reasons why there's good reasons to have masculine and feminine traits. Like women, it's good for them to have feminine traits, and men, it's good for them to have masculine traits. And I think the reason why we're having so many men be complacent, right? Like all the, it's I guess maybe I look at the world from a very closed eye view because I don't really experience as much besides some local friends. But my industry is so fucking cutthroat. You have to be kind of a prick. You, I don't know if that makes sense, but like the dudes
But
I
you
work
were a
with, bro.
prick before you got on a boat, so.
Well, that's also upbringing. But like, but my thing is that's just how you gotta be. You gotta be cutthroat in a way. Like you're nice to one another,
Jimmy
but
Dean
in the back,
brings
but in the
up a
back of my
good
head,
example, Cleopatra.
but in the
Because she
back of,
slanged that vagina around trying to get men to do anything they could.
like Julius
And
Caesar, right?
they started crazy wars.
But
Crazy wars
but the
over
back
her.
of my head, dude, you got to stay motivated, man. Like, oh fuck you, I'm taking your job. I want your spot. And that's
Mm-hmm.
the thing. I think a lot of dudes just get complacent because that's all they were taught. They didn't have a male role model, didn't have a father in the home, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
how high are the divorce rates in this country right now? Like we've
Mm-hmm.
ridiculously high. So a lot of kids growing up, or guys, I should say, even around my age, your age, stuff like that, younger than me, they didn't grow up with a father in the household to teach them how to maneuver, how to go about it in life, because it's just it was absent from the house.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, oh man, like I gotta copy. Like, who do they have to copy from? Most likely their mother.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes into great. This is another fucking topic I definitely want to have on the show. But like with uh, how the courts work now, how it heavily favors women, it is
Oh
very
yes.
difficult. It is how it heavily favors the woman, the
My
mother.
dream for our
So,
show is to get this YouTuber who just started to blow up recently. Uh, he is a practicing attorney in Atlanta, Georgia.
mm,
He's just started to really blow up, especially on Black YouTube.
mm,
The lead attorney. I am going to try to see if there's something that I can do to actually get a one-on-one conversation, so that maybe he can donate 15 minutes of his time to one of our episodes, to try to educate men on some of these things that go on in the realm that you're talking about.
and that as a whole, I think there's a lot of episodes we can have just on these topics I talked in the past few minutes that
Mm.
contributes to why a man has become complacent. So
Yeah.
I do agree to you at a whole. What I was just saying is be careful, but you are right. Is that these dudes have become way too complacent, unwilling to take risks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a problem, bro.
Unwilling to be
Like,
a prick.
unwilling to be a prick. Like, dude, you know how many people I have pissed off? Like, it's just at the
You know
end of
how
the
many
day, bro.
people I
You
had to
just got to be
start
like, fuck it.
risking pissing off? People that I respect and adore.
Yeah.
People that I respect and love as brothers and sisters. And I've been barking on people in my personal life, saying the shit that needs to be said, worrying that I just ruined something that I valued. And then instead of not having any friends, now they respect me more and they respect themselves more. You know how many of these kinds of conversations I've had to have with people very close to me, where I was uncomfortable being a prick, but now I'm finding a comfort in it because, like it or not, that's our role as men. That is
Well,
our role. That
I
is
think
our role. Our
I think yeah.
role, because again, women have women have the opportunities. They have the opportunities to think of things in La La Land, to think of things in a fantasy mindset. As men, we don't have that ability to just rest on our laurels and say, well, something good will happen. No, we've got to work for it. We've got to grind for it.
Mm,
Our minds have to stay reality based. And
mm.
guess what? Reality, most of the time, is a fucking prick.
Yeah.
So if you're a man that is adhering to reality and you're honoring reality, you're going to be mistaken for being a prick by one or few people. But you have to be willing to say the shit that needs to be said. Think about it this way, right? I give you a good example of this, right? Kevin Samuels had a men's week a couple of a couple weeks ago. No, it was last week. Last week, Kevin Samuels had a men's week and let men call into his show, and he constantly had men talking about, oh, you have to, tell, the things that you're saying to these women is good, but you need to tone it down. You need to make it softer because these women are not used to being told this or that, blah blah blah. And he says, well, you're telling me that I would get better results if I toned it down and softened it. But I went from 100,000 to 1 million subscribers in 6 months. So I'd say that it's working. No, but you would get more. You can get more. But who is
No.
to say that I would have gotten this 15% that you're telling me that I would get, and I would lose 30% from the people that appreciate me as a man keeping it real?
Hmm.
Because women understand that men have to live in a fact-based reality. We can't do the Disney shit. We can't. And sometimes the truth is unkind. And you know what? Women respect the guys that are going. They may be angry with you. They may say mean stuff to you. They may call you gay or whatever because they don't like what you're saying.
Well,
But they do respect it.
You have to, as a man, you're able to. You have to have those difficult conversations. Like last night, right? I had to have a very serious and difficult conversation. And I just full transparent. I laid it out. Like, this is how it's gonna have to go. I need to know this. Need to know that. And like it was a 3 to 4 hour long conversation. Good, because my girl's more. She's just traditional. I'll be completely honest with you. So
Yep.
she trusts me to make the right decision.
Yep.
And I was like, this is what we got to do. If we want to truly take this next step, want to make this move, want to move in together, want to start this future, have a kid in a few years, like these are the fucking steps we're going to have to take and investments we're going to have to take to further along. And
Absolutely.
I told her, I told her, and I was like, because, and I love her with all my heart, and she's fucking brilliant. And, she graduated with honors in college, and, she is the love of my life. But I was like, you can apply yourself more in some aspects. You should do this, you do this. And I'm not telling her how to live her life, what career to go this, but like ever since I've been together with her, I've told her to do certain things and she's done it, and she's able to go further and further along with her certifications of teaching.
Because that's your role as the man.
Because I'm trying to make sure that she furthers along herself, right? It's not just for selfish, oh, like I want you to make more money. No, like I want you to be happy with how your life is going. I want you to be happy with the career path you are on, because she was a little unhappy at points because she felt stagnant. And I made sure to kind of lead her in a path like, here, this is your avenue. This is how you go. I went through, I did it for days of research to make sure what I was saying was correct and not like fallacies. And I led her in that direction. And, for me and her, one of the reasons why relationships thrives is, as a man, I take the role in a lot of the shit, right? Like,
Yep.
I don't not let her have a say in the matters, obviously. That's not a relationship, just a dictatorship. But when it comes to certain financial decisions, when it comes to certain paths in life, I lay out to her how, like, okay, this is what is going to work for us if we want to start this future together. Like, if we want to have, because, like, if we want to be like $250,000, $500,000 household, these are the steps we need to take. And I'm a man of my word. I do a lot of studying. I've done a lot of testing programs and stuff like that to further on my own licensing. So, I get it. And I think, it kind of correlates with this is with a man, you have to take the leadership role, because if you don't, if you're not ambitious, you do not take the leadership, you will be walked over the whole fucking life.
Yo,
because
Cinevision said it. Did she not say that in the comment section? She said that directly. I have walked over guys.
Well, and because I'll be honest with you, man, I've made that mistake in my life once of being the nice guy.
Yeah.
Of, not the quote, oh my God, I'm so sad. Not that guy, but like, just like too nice. Right. Or like that, like, what I mean? Those nice guys. Oh, I'm in the friends. My life. No, like not that, but I'm like,
we're going to do an episode
but just too friendly to a point where I realized, and this is probably around 21, 22, because I actually, my father had a good conversation with me about this. I remember this. I'll never forget this. He's like, Paul, you're a great kid. You're smart. You're intelligent. You're driven. But, you're kind of an asshole at home. You need to start acting like you more do at home. It was the realest stuff. He's like, you are great, but you need to, make sure they know. And the funniest shit is, like, it was such a life lesson for me. So I'm like, you know what? Like, yeah, I need to kind of Like, I'm trying to be nice guy at work, not cause waves, but you know what? Fuck it. Like, if I see shit doing wrong, I see stuff being done stupidly, or if I want to move myself up in that company, be a little bit of a prick. What's wrong with it? Yeah. But shit, man, I know fucking I appreciate everyone coming on. This is
Yeah.
unprompto late show, but God, nice seeing all the viewers come by.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have so many really, really important episodes, and I really do thank Cinevision for coming through here. I did not
Mm.
even know that you were subscribed, but again, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. We are here, and I want you guys to know that there is a good reason why you should always strive to be the very best version of yourself,
Mm.
because you're either going to hear that you're worthless in one corner of the internet, in another corner they're going to tell you that all of the women are worthless. Here on TSP, what we're going to tell you is that the people that are valuable to you, they're not on social media
No,
flapping their fucking gums.
no.
Okay? And as long as you keep grinding to put the work in, you're going to see more success with the opposite sex. Jimmy Dean has really stepped out there on a limb.
Yo, Jimmy, listen, man. I'll tell you how it is, bro. When I said nice guy, I'm not being like, oh, thank you, my lady. May I take you? May I pay for everything? And just yeah, can I lick your toes? Like, nah, fuck that shit. Like some of these weirdos, no. Like, I'm not gonna pay for a fucking OnlyFans. Like some of these fucking losers. Like, no, that's not me. But you got to be a little bit of a prick in the workplace. I'm sorry. Maybe I don't know if you think I'm wrong there, Evil.
No, you're 100%.
But I gotta be a little bit of a prick if you're wasting my time. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, fuck you. You know?
Well, you were itching for a TSP. You're in luck because tonight actually is a makeup episode for yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
We will be right back here tomorrow.
Yep.
Or if you're on the East Coast, later on today.
Oh,
We're
shit,
going to
it's like
be
4 a.m.
TSP episode, I believe, 23. We are going to be covering Bill Cosby.
Oh, bro, I got so much to say on that shit.
Yeah, we're going to be covering Bill Cosby, and talking about the rule of law versus assumed guilt and things of that nature. We're going to go in pretty hard on that and some other stuff that's going on the internet. It's probably going to be more of a variety episode where we start to cover some of the stories that I've been wanting to cover for a while. But again, people, there's always a good reason to try to become the best version of yourself. It's just that some of those rewards that you want, they're just not, the path to those rewards are just not as obvious as you would like. But continue to keep striving to be the best version of yourself. We are going to continue to bring you stellar content. This is Dr. Evil Genius.
This is Captain Paul.
And we up out of here. Have a good night, y'all. Peace.